Hi guys, it's Hila here from Saturday Night Stage. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to this channel and you're not subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button for everything to do with sewing and random sewing stuff. Okay, so I have just finished watching episode 2 of Making the Cut. And I got some thoughts. I really got some thoughts, but I'm going to try and keep it short because it might sound a little bit ranty after a while. But okay, so as I said in my first video about this series, I'm not familiar with Project Runway. So I wasn't familiar with Tim Gunn. I now know that his name is Tim Gunn. Thank you so much to everybody who commented and told me about him. And, I went to read up a little bit about him. I read his Wikipedia page. Beyond that, nothing more. But, despite actually reading what I did read about him and actually going to check out what's happening with the Making the Cut Amazon store, I kind of have to say I still stand by what I said, that I don't like his interfering with the fashion designers' creative visions, with him putting on his opinions about that. I don't know. I still feel that $1 million is a heck of a lot of money for you to lose out on because maybe you listened to the advice of somebody else and you didn't go with your own gut, especially if that person doesn't seem to be part of the judging panel. And I still stand by that. It's $1 million. $1 million can make a huge difference for a business, especially a small business. And I mean, can you imagine what that might feel like if you're the designer and you listened to him? That's my alarm clock going off. And you listened to him. He gave you some advice and he was like, I wouldn't do, I would add this or I would add that. And then you do that. And then Naomi Campbell, who's one of the judges, goes like, darling, I didn't like that. I think that might be grounds for a lawsuit. I don't know about that. Yeah, I still stand by the fact that he shouldn't be interfering. And I get it. A lot of people said he was on Project Runway and he's a mentor on there. But my understanding from what I read, so I read a little blurb about how they were interviewing Heidi and Tim Gunn, and they were talking about how Making the Cut is different to Project Runway. And one of the things that Tim Gunn said was that he was excited to be working with professionals who had been in the industry, because with Project Runway, he was like, he had to do a lot more helping the contestants with the technical stuff. I'll put the link in the description box to the article where he's talking about how he's looking forward to working with fully fledged designers. So in that regards, the fact that these aren't amateurs, these are people who have been, in design. In fact, one of the guys, the Italian contestant, he's been a designer for over 30 years. And some of the other contestants, they've got shops that have got an annual turnover of about $150,000 and things like that. So these are fully formed designers who know what their aesthetic is, who know what their brand is, who know who they're designing for. And I don't think that in a competition where you're up for $1 million, anybody should be going to tell them that, I think you might need to tweak things like that. And that's what's so confusing for me about this format of what they're doing. But anyway, let's go into episode 2 because I got thoughts about episode 2. So in episode 1, one of the things that Tim Gunn kept on emphasizing was that this isn't a sewing competition. But guess what episode 2 shows us? Yes, it is a sewing competition, because guess who got eliminated? Spoiler alert, by the way. So if you haven't watched it and you want to watch it and you don't want to know who wins and who's kicked out, you need to cut off now. Okay. The person who gets cut out is because she couldn't sew. She couldn't sew. She struggled with even cutting out patterns. But she's a fashion designer and she's got her own brand, and she's shown at, I think she was saying she showed at New York Fashion Show. I might be wrong. But she basically, as with all reality TV shows, I don't know why I'm surprised. It's a reality TV show. Okay. Anyway, she walks out. And this was one of my hate watch favorite moments of the show. You know, when you kind of like, why are you enjoying this? Because you know it's all manufactured. Yeah, she sort of walks out because she's struggling with figuring out how to cut into fabric and stuff like that. And then Tim rocks up and he's like, "Where's Martha? What's going on? What's going on? Where is Martha? Where?" I was just like, but I kept watching. I like fashion. I like watching people shop for fabric. I have a chest infection, so I'm watching a lot of TV, which is more than I would. But anyway, and she's a really lovely person. But she then presents to the judges, to Naomi Campbell, to Joseph Altazura, to the former editor of French Vogue, and to Nicole Richie, literally just a piece of fabric wrapped around the model and pinned. Now, I don't blame her. I honestly don't blame her as a contestant. I blame the producers of that show for putting her in that position. They would have known that she had no sewing skills at all. And maybe she even raised it up. She probably said, "Oh, I'm a little bit worried because I don't know how to sew. I've never sewn." And they were like, "Darling, don't worry. It's not a sewing competition. We want you for your design. You've got an absolutely wonderful aesthetic." Because she does have a very unique, joyful aesthetic that she has herself. But she can't sew. And they told her that. And then they put her in that show up against people who are like amazing, not only amazing sewers, they are people who can use an industrial sewing machine, you know. And so I don't blame her, but it's the producers. And I feel like it's really unfair that they put her in that position where she ended up presenting literally just a bolt of fabric, you know, just a wrap around somebody and all that. And you could tell Auntie Naomi was not impressed at all, because she was like, "Give us the dress." And she said it in the way that when I was a kid, if my mom had that tone and that face where she'd be like, "Bring your homework book over here." Because you'd say, you know, I would have said, "Have you done your homework?" And I'd have been like, "Yeah." And then she'd be like, "Go get your homework book." And that was Naomi. And I was just like, oh my days. And also, so then she got sent off, and you know, she got quite a bit of a telling off from Naomi, going like, "You gotta respect that, you know, that craftsmanship of haute couture. You can't just throw, you know, a piece of fabric and wrap it around a person and then walk it down the runway." And I think Martha knew that it was coming. That's it. That's her name, Martha. Yeah, I keep remembering Martha Stewart. Martha. But yeah, so then she, you know, she goes, and deservedly so. I'm sorry, but I just don't think that at this level of competition, you're trying to say to people, "Hey, give me your $1,000,000 and I will do something special." And all you do is create a wrap with some nice fabric. No, get cut out of that competition. So I totally agreed with who was cut out in episode 2. With regards to who the winner was, I don't agree with it at all. Again, it was Esther, the same person who won in episode 1. So now I'm kind of thinking that they just like anything that's black, because all she does is design in black clothes. And I honestly didn't feel like what she made this week was that much different from what she made in the first week. And then another interesting fact as well, I went to check straight away on the Making the Cut store on Amazon, and the dress was there, but it wasn't made of silk like in the show. It was actually made of polyester. And so I thought, wow, that was quite interesting. And I read through some of the reviews of the garments, because it seems to be easily available in America. It's not available all around the world, by the way. It's not on Amazon.co.uk. It was on Amazon.com. And the reviews were not that flattering at all. And there were a lot of complaints about the size ranges. I mean, granted, some of the reviewers hadn't bought anything. More than half of them were people complaining about the fact that it had sold out before they could buy it. And about a quarter of them were complaining about the fact that it only goes up to like a medium or a large size. So that was that. And what else? So yeah, so it was quite interesting. So I didn't agree with her winning because I really didn't feel like what she made was all that unique. But then again, it's Amazon. They just want something that they can sell on their site. And also, interestingly, on the Making the Cut store, Heidi is also promoting her intimates thingy. Apparently, she's got something that does lingerie. And then there was also Nicole Richie. And it turns out that she's got her own fashion brand called House of Hallow. I had a very quick look at it. There wasn't anything that was like really nice or, even high fashion. It's more, to me, it looked more like catalog stuff. I don't know, what would you, yeah, sort of like the stuff that you would find in high street shops. So not something that's, overly collectible, which I kind of find funny that she's now judging a show where they're supposed to be discovering the next big global brand, but I don't think that she is a global brand, so to speak. So yeah, so that was quite cool. I did not expect Esther to win. I called it completely wrong because to me it wasn't a unique design at all. But they like something about her clearly. I actually thought that the runner-up girl who made the white dress, she should have won, because I thought that what she made was actually quite unique and different as well. And especially the fact that it was quite different to what she made in week one, which kind of shows like a range of ability and a range of aesthetic. I personally don't think that a fashion designer should just be making the same thing. From a business perspective, if I was investing in a fashion house, I'm not going to invest in, somebody who's just making the same thing year in, year out, and so far from what I've seen of Esther, she's been making things that are very, very similar. Okay, so that was that. Do I think that the right person left this episode? Absolutely. And Martha, I know that you're never going to watch this, but if you do, if you're watching, this is my personal message to you. I'm Hila. I've got a blog, Saturday Night Stitch. I recently, last year, got a Birder Teacher Certification course, so I can teach you how to sew, because I think if you're a fashion designer, it is kind of helpful to have sewing as one of your skill sets, So the link is in the description box for my blog with my sewing school, and I hope you can get in touch with me. Just not gonna watch that. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on episode 2. I'm gonna be watching episode 3 and episode 4. I know it's trashy. I know it is rubbish. It is nowhere near as good as Next in Fashion. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a quarantine. I'm stuck at home. I can't go out because I have a chest infection. So I'm going to watch it. Are you watching it too? Let me know I would love to know what you think. Do you think that the right person left? More importantly, do you think that the right person won in episode 2? Because, yeah, I don't think so. Anyway, until I catch you later, remember to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button. Smash the subscribe button. And until I see you next time, happy sewing. Bye.